cars. They often make contact, compromise each other's race, and yeah, I'm sure me and Ryan Cutter and the guys down there at the Leopard garage won't be too happy with that one.
Well, if Darren Almanza thought he was getting away at the front, that has ended right there, hasn't it? Thanks to his teammate, aggressive on him into the final corner, and all the work to do again as Morelli comes back at Peroni for 5th place now.
Yeah, Morelli looks good into turn 2. Last lap around he did look on the inside of Carpe, this time making it work, as Ferrosaro also pounces on Peroni into turn 4.
And here we are again, we've got 4 Hondas in the top 6. What's the story, Michael? Come on, what can you tell us with all your insider information?
It certainly seems that the improvements, the upgrades from Honda that were provided last time out in Portugal, the exhausts have given them a little bit more acceleration. It's not huge, it is marginal gains, but it seems to make them a little more competitive here today, or this weekend they have been, and the flow of this racetrack. It's all about turning the Leopard bikes, run quite a short bike, quite a nimble and agile bike, and they seem really confident around here.
Through the flip-flop of 9 and 10, you stay on the side of the tyre as you go into 11. Quiles thinking about just letting Fernandez know he's there. This is where Fernandez messed it up a couple of laps ago, and where he took the lead from his teammate 1 lap ago. Right, and then into the left-hander now. Look at the pace that Quiles gathers on the change of direction there. Is the KTM's... the Honda was normally more nimble bike.
Yeah, the Honda, as you heard from Casey O'Gorman when he spoke to Steve Day, the Honda takes a little bit more corner speed on the way in. It doesn't slow up and stop as well as the KTM, but yeah, around here you can see, even though there's a lot of stop and go, it's a crash for Joel Kelso. I'm not sure where, I didn't see him, he wasn't featuring where he usually would in the lead group there.
Yeah, he was in the sort of pack, and then, he was with Rios and Nepa. Anything can happen, can't it, in that last corner? Because the way it just tightens up it's gnarly.
Morelli down the inside of Carpe again here at turn 2. That's
looking lively.
He looks good into there, really confident on the braking prowess into turn 2, very strong there.
Of course, Kelso will be coming in to replace Morelli at your team next year. What's happened with him?
Down front end, he's had to run the SC2, the harder front tyre, which he doesn't like, but he said the SC1 just wasn't lasting here this weekend. Seems like all the Moto3 runners have gone for the SC2, the harder front tyre option here this weekend.
When does your work with Joel start?
Next weekend. He's riding here for us on a 600 stock 600 practice bike. Essentially, he's going to ride in the. He's going to race ride the Thursday, Friday practice and see how it's going. He might actually race here at Junior GP next weekend as well.
Bit of training exercise, get to know the team. Right, out towards turn 11. There's Jesus Rios quitting himself well. Good to see someone stepping up from Junior GP and straight away outdoing his teammate this weekend. If you think Nicola Carraro's down in 19.
Yeah, Rios has been really impressive all weekend. He's made short work of the switch to Honda Power from KTM as he runs for the Fine Hour team in Junior GP, but looked really at one with the machine this weekend here around the Ricardo Tormo circuit.
Almanza's made his way back up into 6th spot now, behind Alvaro Carpe. You see the number 22 pulled alongside of Carpe into the home straight as Carpe just pulled back in front of Morelli across the line there.
Yeah, Marco was wide on the exit of turn 14, didn't get a great run onto the straight. Almanza perfectly executed 2 overtakes there on the run to turn 1.
And then runs it over the top of the curbs up towards turn 2. Still, Fernandez leads. Morelli back into 5th place ahead of Carpe now. Really liking what I'm seeing from the Argentine.
Yeah, Almanza's regrouped as well after the incident with Fernandez. Took a couple of laps to make his way through on that little chase group with Ferrosaro, Peroni and the others. So he's now back within striking distance of the podium.
Yeah, and the return to Argentina, I think with 2 riders like Peroni and Morelli, if they're in this kind of position next year, obviously we go to Brazil. The talk is we go, I know they've announced, we go to Buenos Aires the following year. Can't come soon enough.
Exactly. Yeah, Peroni's really come to the fore this season as a full-time, he is a rookie with the Tech 3 team, but as a full-time rider, he just gained confidence in those early rounds by mid-season, really showing his form. Had a little dip in the flyaways, but he's back on song here in Valencia this weekend.
Yeah, 10th in the championship, a couple of podiums to his name, a couple of pole positions. Done really, really well at the front. Fernandez on the 31, the 28, of course, is Quiles, with Luca Lunetta having a really good ride here. Remember his mid-season injury woes after he was clattered into the back, let's not forget, at Assen.
Quiles, little mistake, the rear wheel of Fernandez into turn 14.
Yeah, just different lines, weren't they, converging, and then he found Fernandez right where he wants to be, and he just had to lift the bike. Ferrosaro now around the outside of Carpe. Ferrosaro is the fastest on track. 1:37.8.
Which is quite typical of Furusato in the race. Comes forward.
That's 6/10 quicker than the old lap record from a couple of years ago, when, of course, they were on Dunlops last time we raced it.
Yeah, 2 years ago, when Ayumu Sasaki was the victor on the day from David Alonso, even Ortola making it up the final spot on the podium. Yeah, the pace 37.8 last time around for Furusato is pretty good. We've seen in practice that Almanza could lap in the high 37s, 37.5 to 37.9, quite consistently comfortable at that pace, and at the moment it's all been low 38s at the head of the field here, so I think Almanza's perhaps got a little bit left. Hearing Moto3 riders talk about tyre conservation heading into the race today is slightly unusual, but 20 laps around here with a lot of time on the shoulder here around these left-handers.
It's becoming more usual.
Yeah, it's
been one of the stories, hasn't it, of this year. You cannot go helpful leather right from the off, because if you do, you won't have anything at the end. And you feel like Jose Antonio Rueda was the one who got his head around that the best.
Yeah, he figured out how to make the tyres last, well, how to use them best at certain points of the race, whether that was to make a gap early doors or to save a little bit to fight at the end. Rueda, I think these young riders did learn a lot from him this season in his race management.
Carpe and Pini having a scrap. Yeah. Don't want to be on the outside there coming through that tightening corner, as Guido Pini's just found out, but he stayed in the throttle, didn't he? As Furusato attacks Morelli, fastest rider on circuit, unsurprisingly, is David Almanza, and he will have drawn a target on the side of his teammate's bike. I'm pretty certain that Leopard team, first year without them winning a race. Could it be today?
22 rounds it's took to get to this point where they're at the strongest circuit for them this year, where both Almanza and Fernandez have the pace to win today. Could they check that box?
It feels to me it's either going to happen or both of them are going to take each other out. What do you reckon?
It's very possible. Almanza's last day in Leopard colours. He will switch to Intact GP Dynavolt next week in Jerez for his first test there, but he'd love to sign off with his first podium earned, perhaps his first ever victory. But likewise, Fernandez been runner-up so many times, he'll really want to get it across the line today.
And who's taking Almanza's seat? Remind me again for next year.
That will be Guido Pini.
Yeah, that would be lively, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he is.
Imagine Pini versus Fernandez in a box. Pini managed by none other than Emilio Malfamora, is that right?
Whoa, that is a move. Yeah, Guido Pini is managed by Alzamora, likewise Brian Uriarte, who's in the AO squad. So Emilio Alzamora very much got a fingerprint on the young Spanish talent and Italians coming through with Pini.
Yeah, and if you remember, people might not know, former world champion himself in 125 without winning a race that year, 1999, and of course was the manager of Marc Marquez in his early career. And then they went their separate ways. A lot of fallout from that.
Sorry, Angel Becerras just looks a little toothless in this fight today, which is very unusual. He's been off form, off colour, I'd say, the last third of the season. It just doesn't seem like he's had that feisty, aggressive race condition that he had in those early rounds of the 2025 season.
I still feel if he can just tag on to the back of the group, Becerras is such a character that you can manufacture something around here, can't you? Almanza's been beaten up again on this lap. Yep. Starting to think the dream's not going to come true for him. We've said this a lot, haven't we, this year?
Yeah, a long way to go here. We've still got 13 laps remaining, 12 and a half. It does look like
he's ahead of myself.
He is getting beat up a little bit, but yeah, once the tyre drop comes from lap 14, 15, then perhaps he's saving a little bit of something at this point. It does look like we've dislodged the group of 9. I said Becerras is toothless in the battle, but he's going to make his way through Morelli here at turn 8. You can never count him out. He is tenacious. He always finds a way in terms of the group battle to edge his way forward and make inroads towards the latter laps of a race. He's got very good race management.
You did say, Michael, about Marco Morelli, he's good with tyres. I just wonder, because he had a couple of tyre issues, hasn't he, late on in races in recent times. I just wonder, he's hit the back of this pack now. You want him to stick in there. He's starting to suffer a bit, perhaps.
Yeah, possibly. He, like you say, he's normally pretty good at managing a race, but he got beat up a little bit, lost a little bit of ground, and on this lap, it seemed like he was labouring slightly, lost a little bit of contact already with Becerras and the run to the line here. So yeah, unfortunately for him, it does look like he may be starting to struggle a little bit. He did go with the SC1, the soft front tyre, and that was a worry that it may cold tear. It was banding a little bit on the right side for some of the riders after about 5 or 6 laps yesterday.
If things finish the same, Quiles will be second in the World Championship behind Jose Antonio Rueda. If only he had missed 4 rounds at the start of the year when he was, well, 2 of them because he was too young, 2 of them because he was injured. Behind, Tayo Furusato, the enigma that is Tayo Furusato, is just getting quicker and quicker as this race goes on.
He's making his way through. I do like the young Japanese rider. Whenever it comes to these type of fights, he's aggressive, but he looks so calm when he's in the battle. He doesn't do any big rash moves, but he's aggressive when he needs to be.
There he is, the big number 72 behind. Fernandez on the 31 leads them. Lunetta still hanging in. Good to see this from Luca Lunetta. Return to the top positions. He was on the podium, of course, in Indonesia. But since his comeback, pretty much all inside the top 10. I think that's solid, isn't it, from Lunetta, who, of course, moves up to take the seat vacated by Diogo Moreira.
Yeah.
At Italtrans next year. Is that right?
No, Lunetta's moved to
Speed up. My apologies, yeah.
Speed RS.
Yeah. Yes, Speed RS team. You tell it's the end of the season, my brain is absolutely adult.
Yeah, Lunetta will be an interesting campaigner at Moto 2. Had a good season despite his injury following the Assen GP and missing those few rounds when Casey O'Gorman stepped in to fill the void, but he's come back and looking for another podium here today.
Does it look like to you like it looks to me about Quiles? Like he could pass Fernandez at any moment if he wanted?
It does seem that way. I think he's at the moment tempering his aggression, which is not quite typical of Maximo Quiles. He likes to get stuck in and enjoy the battle throughout the race, but the way he controlled things in Portimao and was able to up the ante in the latter laps, perhaps a little bit of that tactic at play again today.
Front group of 9. Do you want to look further back? Eddie O'Shea's come up to 18th, bear in mind he started down in 25th. Good ride from Eddie. And then Jacob Ralston, who started just in front of Eddie on the grid in 23rd, he's up to 16th and in the battle with Brian Uriarte and Adrian Cruces, with a freshly operated on hand, and that's a decent return for the Aussie in his last permanent ride.
Yeah, last permanent ride, but we hope to see him back maybe as a replacement rider next year. Sad to lose Ralston as a full-time campaigner in Moto 3, but good he's been able to return here in Valencia despite that injury and subsequent surgery.
Still Fernandez leads at the front. I honestly feel like Quiles is just tapping away behind him, minding his own business.
See how he stops it into turn 14. Close to the rear wheel of Fernandez once again, but sideways in there on braking and confident to ride so close to the rider in front. I think you're right. I think he's got a little left in the locker.
I mean, the elastic's broken for Marco Morelli. I just wonder again there, Fernandez deeper into turn 1. Quiles just hanging on in second, isn't he? He's going to go at some point, without a doubt. But David Almanza just losing touch ever so slightly with this front group now.
Yeah, which I'm surprised about. We did say Almanza's the guy with the rhythm, although at the front it is 38.0, 37.9. We know Almanza's capable of doing that. It's whether his front tyre could be giving him a little bit of trouble here already in this race. He's one of the other Honda runners who chose the SC2 tyre today, and they typically like to run the SC1.
We're past the halfway point in this race. Marco Morelli's got a track limits warning, so does Cormac Buchanan at the back of the field. So just something there, a bit of a warning to keep your wheels in line. There are a few tricky track limits areas around this racetrack where if you know, it's not predictable. You see it obviously all around here at turn 11. There's a lot of places you can go over the curbs. That's not one of them out of turn 11.
No, 11 and 12, you have to be careful on the direction change at 12. These Moto 3 riders were getting close to the paint, and then the little square on the exit of the final turn at turn 14 is an easy one to get caught out on. But then, as you mentioned, there are a number of areas where you can drop off the high end of the curb, and it is just red paint on the asphalt. These Moto 3 riders have been using it this weekend.
You see that little painted bit there just out the final corner. That's caught a few out this weekend. So across the line we go. 9 laps to go in this Moto 3 race. Still Adrian Fernandez leads. Still the pace 1:38.0. Still Quiles quicker than him on that last lap. Furasato thinking about attacking.
From Furasato here at this point in the race, just looks comfortable there, but yeah, Quiles, you know, will have something up his sleeve. Fernandez controlling with a good rhythm at the front, and Almanza's regrouped a little bit here over the last couple.
Group of 8 now, and Piqueras is labouring. He's labouring to stick with